The Jets are like the mafia. It's like being a Jet fan is like a mafia. As soon as you thought you're out, it pulls you back in. And here we are.
It has familiarity with the system there.
What was that? What was that word again?
Beard's getting me,
First Miller Lite, bro?
Jets.
Yeah, everybody beat the fucking Jets that year.
That was their first win in like forever.
Yeah, they gave out free beer to the entire city because fucking Baker Mayfield beat the Jets.
Yeah.
Go ahead and break the ice. Fuck, man. Bro. If you don't want to show up, fuck.
My God, you should have seen my story, bro. I watched it, man. I was going nuts. I wanted Thibodeau or Sauce, and when he said he didn't even say Ahmad Gardner. He said Sauce Gardner.
Yeah,
I went nuts.
And a text from Dennis like getting kicked out of the game.
Sounds about right.
I'm with security or something. This is ridiculous. They're throwing me out for farting on the face.
What?
And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, the guy behind me says I keep farting on him. And they were like kicking him out, but it was Bandoni that was ripping ass.
Nick was farting, and I got kicked out of the game for it.
Dennis got kicked out. They brought him to the jail.
You went to the Jets jail, bro?
All right, and we're back. Episode 10 of the Jets Group Chat podcast. It seems like our 10 double digits.
Holy
Holy
shit,
shit, man. I didn't think we'd make it this far. I didn't think we'd make it at all. I didn't think this would ever get off the ground, no pun intended.
Here we are.
Yeah, we only have the two of us tonight, but two of our guys are out in Vegas. The other guy's doing life. So, but we figured we'd come at you. There's a lot of shit happening. Breaking news, God might be a Jets fan after all, because he did spare us some good fortune today. We're used to heartbreak. We're used to same old Jets, as Spiga knows all too well.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, by now, everybody knows Zach Wilson goes down. Same knee as last year in that second drive of that preseason opener on a non-contact injury. And so as soon as that happens, you're fearing the worst. Were you watching that live, Spiga?
No, not live. It's like I didn't do the NFL Plus thing, so like I was kind of following it through.
Oh, gotcha.
Twitter. Yeah, and it's funny because Parsons is down here, so I was hanging out with him, and we were out. We were out to eat, and all of a sudden, like I'm looking, all of a sudden my phone blows up, and it's like anytime I see like you guys, my brother, my mom, I'm like, oh shit, what happened? And boom, it's like, oh look, go right to Twitter, and it's just like heartbreaking tears.
Picky Martians, friend of the pod.
Picky Martians, friend of the pod. Yep, down here in Florida.
Is he just visiting, or is he down there permanently now?
No, he's visiting. He's hanging out.
Gotcha. Good for him.
Yep.
Yeah, I was at Kelly's, and I was there with Bandoni. Bandoni left right before the game though, and it happened, and I was just so aggravated that I didn't even like go into the group chat and throw it out there like for all your reaction, because I figured you all saw it and we're all aggravated too. And then you hit us up in like the second quarter and you're like, what the fuck? Wilson's hurt already? And I'm like, oh yeah, man, he might be out for the year.
Like when my brother texts me and all it is just ha 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 ha. I'm like, that's either really good or really bad. And then also I look and it's just same old Jets, baby. But best case scenario came out. I mean, best of the bad scenario, him getting hurt. Only miss him for what, 2 to 4 weeks. I'd probably err on the side of the 4 weeks just to be safe, especially with those knee injuries. And it's his right foot, it's his right knee, so it's his driving foot. His back leg. Yeah. So you'd want to make sure that that's really, really healed up nice before he gets the field again, before he even sees the field again. But Joe Flacco, Super Bowl MVP, baby. Let's see what you got.
Yeah, it's Joe Flacco revenge game season.
Joe Flacco is still good.
Yeah, I'm about to get that shirt. Call me fickle if you want, but I actually feel pretty good about Flacco running the offense. Like I know like it feels like there's been like a bubble of momentum that's kind of bursted, but I feel good about Flacco running the offense. I feel good about
I do too.
I think all the reasons that you thought the Jets might struggle coming out of the gate were mostly predicated on like not knowing what you were going to get out of Wilson and his inexperience and the things that you saw for a lot of this year. But I think for all of the deficiencies that Wilson still has up to this point, not that he doesn't have talent, not that he doesn't have potential to be a franchise quarterback or maybe a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback, but I think we could all agree confidently that going into week one, he's not that at this present moment. So, and I'm not saying Joe Flacco's that either, but I think the the parts that frustrate you the most with Wilson last year were the small things, the intangibles, almost like just like hitting the check down guy or look not look,
read or something stupid.
Going to your second or your third read or not switching, not checking out the defense and checking out of the play and
taking
going
the
to
sack
read.
instead of getting rid of the ball. Yep.
And I just have confidence that Flacco is going to make those easy decisions and he's going to make those short passes. But I mean, we've seen it in spurts the last 2 years with Flacco in the time he's been here under Gase, and then of course he could still throw that deep ball, man. Like, and at this point now, like he was throwing to when Flacco was playing the last 2 years, he's playing in November, December on teams that are looking at the number 1 pick, almost stripped of weapons all around. This year he's got weapons. This honestly could be the most talented weapons Flacco's ever had in his career, and that's a guy that went to a Super Bowl. If you remember, those Baltimore teams mostly won with defense, and not that Flacco wasn't a Pro Bowl caliber guy, but I think the running joke about Baltimore was like that they never stock their offense with weapons. It's always like
load up on the defense.
Yeah, run. We'll put one speed burner on the outside and a good tight end and figure it out from there. Yeah. So he's actually has weapons. So I actually feel good.
And I actually feel
Flacco.
I have more faith with Mike White.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, you froze up a little on me, Spiga. You're back.
I'm here. Sorry.
Yep, you're good.
I said I was talking to myself and wasn't even paying attention. I actually have more faith in Joe Flacco run the offense at the beginning of the year than Mike White than I do with Mike White.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Like Mike White had that great game against Cincinnati last year that we all remember. We'll remember that for
still a fluke.
Yeah, and then he came in. He looked fine. What was that against Indianapolis? But then he got hurt, and then it was kind of like the Cinderella run was over. So I guess in an emergency situation, you're fine with Mike White because it wasn't the case. They didn't have Flacco at that point last year. They traded for Flacco.
No, he was hurt.
Oh, okay.
Was they traded for him after? No, I think he was still dealing with the neck stuff, right?
No, I don't think they had him yet. They I don't think they had him yet. I think they traded for him in like November. And that was like thing. That was the thing. He was with Philadelphia, and after they I guess
give up assets for him. You're right.
They traded like a 5 or a 6 for him. I think it was a 6. And then they were like, "Oh, finally, the Jets gave Zach Wilson a veteran quarterback." And I think that because if you remember in that next week after Cincinnati, I think it was the Thursday game against the Colts.
That's the Indianapolis Colts when he got hurt.
It was Mike White, but then Josh Johnson came in.
So I don't think Flacco was like fully up to speed with anything yet, right?
Well, I don't know. I don't think they had him then. I could be wrong. They got him in like the middle of the year, and I remember they got him. I remember they got him, and then he got COVID like the week they got him, and he couldn't play.
My internet was stable enough, I'd look it up online, but can't. We've already seen how that went before.
Yeah, that's
couldn't
all.
Get
good.
anything up going.
But it's neither here nor there. But yeah, he's he came over from Philadelphia last year after being here the year before that, and I think he's a comfortable guy for just Wilson to be around. I think the team feels comfortable around him, and he's just a guy that's been there, like you alluded to. He's been a Super Bowl MVP. He's been there, done that, and he's going to make those nice easy throws. So I don't really worry too much about Joe Flacco. I just put him out there, and he's going to do what he's going to do. It kind of reminds me of It kind of reminds me of the year that the Jets like rolled out Vinny Testaverde out of nowhere. And he just like came in, fucked around, and threw for like 30 touchdowns and like 8 picks, and they went 12-4 that year. Not that I'm saying he's going 12-4, but
talking about making the best of a worst case scenario. Imagine he does that, come out of the gate 3-0. Then what do you do?
Yeah, that's kind of, and I shouldn't have those fears because if the Jets start 3-0,
you're happy.
It's a really good thing. But if he starts 3-0 and Zach Wilson's healthy, the Jets haven't been 3-0 probably in 15 or 20 years. you can't go back to the kid, can you?
You ride the hot hand, especially, and I mean, then then the doubt starts to creep in about Wilson. 2 years, 2 injuries, same same leg. What do you do? Where do you go from there? I mean, already on ESPN today, they're talking about the Jets should be looking to draft a quarterback next year. It's like the Wolves are already out, man. It's like put up or shut up now. You can't, there's no room for error, and that's what sucks about the New York media, which is rightfully so. You're in the biggest market in the world, but still, like there's no room for error over here.
Yeah, you talked about that last week. I think when you were talking about the Becton and Ekonwu thing, whether it's right or wrong, it just fuels
what happens.
It fuels the narrative, whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent. The Jets have opened the door for the narrative to be put out there, and the media's going to run with that now because there is some uncertainty. There is a second knee injury in less than 2 years, and it's concerning. I think is I guess the conservative way to talk about it, but
and if you want to be honest, you want to flip the coin outside of just the injury factor and outside of the second drive, him hurting his leg. That first throw, that interception, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Who was that? Like that was shades of like Sam Darnold against the Lions, first throw, cross the body, pick six. Remember that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, threw it across the field. Yeah.
Like that's like that. I watched the replay of the game after the fact, and like it was that miscommunication? Like it was obviously looking at Corey Davis, but was 6 yards away from, like, it was like nowhere near him. Right. It made no sense. The ball was an awful ball, and it look at one of those, like, you throw your arms in the air and you're like, here we go again. Like all this shit that he's more command of the offense, and it's just an awful, awful throw right out of the gate. It's like, what are you doing, man? So
that was my kind of thing too. I'm like, here we go. We're all pumped. We're all excited for a new season. And again, we'll go back to narratives. The narrative's been written. It's a new team. No excuses for Wilson. Wilson has the pieces now that he needs to be successful. And yet you saw the footage all off season, all these satellite camps and all the extra work that he's been putting in with these guys. And like you said, come out and throw a stinker like that in that first drive. And so at that point, you're eager for him to get back out there for the second drive, and you just kind of chalk it up to jitters or bad reads, whatever you want to call it, nerves. And
do you think that's why he stayed in for a second series, or do you think the plan was to keep starters out there for a while?
I bet you he was probably going to come out there for a second series.
Because
I don't know that.
Hurts got pulled right away, right? Or he did.
Yeah.
One drive, and then he was out for one more.
No, I think did Hurts come back out for a second drive?
Because the second drive is where he got the late hit on Quincy Williams.
Oh, right. That's when they went down the field and scored the touchdown.
But the first drive was so short.
Yeah.
Where it was I think he only threw 4 passes, and it's like, all right, go, let's try one more go, and then boom, got clipped. And again, third down, he doesn't get the first down. Then you hit him late or hit him outside the lines. Boom, first down, personal foul. That was bullshit. That was awful.
It felt dirty. Like I know it wasn't intentional. Like he left way late. Like the guy was out of bounds when he launched.
And pulling up. You don't do that shit.
Yeah.
Like that
was
bad.
I'm not gonna sit here and defend the hit, and I'm not gonna pretend to. But I know I can't speak to the speed of the game. I've never played the game at the NFL level, but the guy that you knew Hurts' intent was to get out of bounds. Mm-hmm. If you didn't see clearly that he was already out of bounds, he was pretty damn close to it before you even launched yourself. So if you
know the situation, you're in the preseason, game 1 of the preseason, and it's not like he's a rookie. He started majority of last year.
Yeah,
so he knows the moment.
Yeah, it's not his first year in the league. Yeah. And Sirianni, the Eagles coach, he was flipping out. I think he was yelling at Saleh. I think he was mostly yelling at Saleh for not taking Quincy Williams out, which I was shocked that he didn't. Because he got that penalty and he never pulled him out of the game. He kept him in the game, which I thought was a little bit of bullshit.
Yeah, it was weird.
I would have taken him out and not played him the rest of the day. But if you also notice too, like all day they're gonna call that all day. But I've read and I've heard that they've told the officials to put more of an emphasis this year on illegal contact on the quarterback and they're going to be calling it all year. If there's any doubt, if you touch the quarterback, they're going to call it this year. So for him to have done that and thought that wasn't going to be a
anything
penalty,
below the waist.
yeah, they're going to call everything all year. So I think this is going to be a rough year for flags and late hits and illegal contact and roughing the passer and all those things that the Jets have been doomed by in years past that just make you want to rip your hair out. I think those are still going to be lingering, but yeah, definitely not a good or encouraging performance from the starters or the first team reps that we saw. But just going through, obviously the Jets come back, they win late. Not that means anything, but you saw some good things from a couple different maybe roster bubble guys or second or third team guys. Anything that really stood out to you, Spiga, that you liked in kind of watching back the film and looking at it?
Yeah, and like, I know we harped on the negatives, right out the gate, but it wasn't all bad. I mean, they showed grit coming back, and especially the backups. You want to see that depth. You want to see this roster really not fall off after the starting 22. And I think that's one good thing that we did see, that a lot of these late round guys, these roster bubble guys, like perform. Like, was it Calvin Jackson? I think should make the team 100%. Him and the running back Knight. I feel like they got a really good shot to sneak in. Not even on the practice squad, sneak in on the 53.
Yeah.
To be honest, like, Mims did nothing for me. He tried to play special teams, looked lazy, looked slow, didn't look like he had emphasis running after the ball carrier. Now's a time where it's like, I don't care where you were drafted or where you're from, what you did. Now it's, this team, this culture needs to be, you play your ass off, you play, you get a roster spot. And the guys who don't, you're packing your bags, you're looking elsewhere. And I think D-line is going to be another one that's going to be a strength of this team moving forward, which probably excites Joe Douglas a little bit because he loves the trenches. But, that presence of, obviously the Quinnen Williams, the Carl Lawsons, the Sheldon Rankins, but the young guys, Tariq Smart, it looks like Clemens was in there making plays.
Yeah.
He looks like he's going to be a beast.
Yeah. I love Clemens,
it was good to see one unit be somewhat strong for an overall sloppy, confusing day, at least for the defense. It was nice to see a shining light in that D line, which I think is going to be, if they can again stay healthy and progress nicely, Jermaine Johnson comes along, it could be a real talented unit.
Yeah, I agree. Clemens had a great, what do you have, seven quarterback pressures, I think, which led the team. And I think I called that when we did our draft review. I said, like, Clemens was my favorite pick, and I think that guy could end up being the steal for us. And what's already like that first round haul and then Hall coming back in the second, like, that's a star-studded class if even half of them hit. But to get a guy like that, what was Clemens, fourth round?
Fourth round.
Yeah. To get a guy like that could potentially just be a pass rush specialist and come in and get you maybe 7 or 10 sacks a year, which I think he has that potential to do. I mean, you take that all day, every day, especially in round 4 for a franchise that's been starved for a pass rusher since John Abraham hit the road. What was that, fucking 20 years ago at this point?
Who knows?
25 maybe. I think we were in like middle school when John Abraham was slinging sacks for us. It's been a long time coming, and like you said, Spiga, I think that's the definite strength of that room right now is the D line and the pass rush. But of course, we're getting to that point in the year now where cut downs are going to happen almost daily, and you're going to have to go. Of course, today I think they went from 90 to 85.
85, yeah.
So that's when those guys that are on the bubble, the Knights and all these guys that we want to see make the roster or are showing they should be on the roster. There's so many you could keep, but when you have so many good guys on that D line, you might have to let 1 or 2 really good, like almost starting caliber guys.
There probably will be about 2, maybe even 3 starters or potential starters, like you said, that might not make the team. Nathan Shepard, is on notice.
Yeah.
Guys who've been here for a minute, it's like there's a lot of hungry people on that D line, especially on the outsides. And it's one of those things where I really feel like with iron sharpens iron. And I think that's where that strength of the team's coming from, is them just fighting and clawing for a roster spot. Because I mean, they've got, off the top of your head, you can name 6 guys who are like locks. That leaves what, 1?
Yeah,
maybe 2 spots left. So it's like, and there's like 4 guys looking for it. So
Yeah, there's probably 10 or 11 that should make it, but like you said, they're only going to take what, 7,
Seven, if that.
eight at the max.
Mhm.
But then you're talking about letting those guys go to keep some talent at other positions, and another deep position is wide receiver. And of course, Mims has been that guy we've talked about that's on the bubble. Of course, like you said, it's going to have to get it done on special teams if he has a chance. Didn't really like the effort that I saw on the special teams end of, and he didn't play well at receiver in the
No,
opportunities
he
that he
had
got.
2 drops, right?
He had 2 drops, and I think he had a penalty. It's pretty much same old Mims. Like, I know he had a great catch today that they keep posting on social media, like a Moss catch. Of course, it's like against the third team, and it's coming when it doesn't matter. But
He's such an enigma, though, where it's like it's so frustrating because yes, wide receiver is a position where it's hard to catch on, and then you see the stats where it's like, oh, Quincy Enunwa didn't do anything his first 2 years, or this guy, Braille
Jericho Cotchery, yeah,
it's like it makes sense. But like, how long do you play that what if game? Like, he was a second round pick. He's wildly talented, but like you look and he's like, do something, stand out, pop on the field. Practice is one thing, it means nothing. But then you're in you make like what we have, I think 1 catch. But again, 2 drops, a bad penalty, no effort on special teams. That's 4 negatives to 1 positive. So it's like, how long are you gonna hold on to that when you got guys like I said, a Calvin Jackson or Jeff Smith right there, looking to fight for that spot. You can't just give it to him just because he's a second round pick.
Right.
It's just like it's frustrating. It really is, dude.
Yeah, and you've read those reports out there that like Mims has spoken to Saleh and told him that he wants to be a starter and he thinks he should start. But
prove it, bro.
Truthfully, what have you done to deserve that? I mean, if he didn't tell him that he wanted to be a starter, I'd be worried. Like that's the driving
drive.
That's the drive for everybody. You want to be a starter in this league, but I think at this point, Homeboy just has to worry about making the roster. Like, don't worry about how much time you're going to get. You're just going to be happy to have a job.
And that's where, like, you look at I want to say other teams, other cultures, but like, if you're a guy who like, I'm dead set on playing in the NFL, and it's like you're looking at the roster, it's like, oh shit, they just drafted 2 years in a row 2 wide receivers, high, not like late projects, but like first and second round.
Right.
You would think you would take an opportunity to be like, yo, what do I got to do to get on this field? Not even like, coach, I deserve to be a starter. I would be going to every other coach, be like, what can I do to stay here? Go to Boyer, being like, how do I, can I be a gunner? Put me on every team. Let me see where I fit. Let me be a holder. Let me do something. But it's almost like he didn't want to play special teams, and only now he's only coming out saying I want to be a starter. You almost want to hear him say, coach, I'll do whatever you want me to do to be on this field. I'll play fullback if you need me to. Or like, I'll play right tackle because, Becton got hurt. Obviously, it's a comical, but like, it's that drive or that like intangible of like, I will do whatever it takes to make this team. It's like you look at him and he doesn't look like he has it. And again, I'm not going to speak to it because I'm not in the NFL, and I can't speak to the NFL, but like, you look from
on Spiga, you were the outside guy for the 06 Carteret Ramblers. It's the same thing.
I know 2-0 to tie against New Brunswick, but still.
Yeah. Same thing.
The same thing. Shout out Mike Kyler for a beautiful ball, 60 yards down the field. Right in the breadbasket right here. But you know what I mean? Like, it's just that, like, it's the everybody talks about the intangibles, and it's like, that drive and like desire is one of them. And it's one of those things where I know you want to be a starter. I want to be a starter, but you got to, like you said, find your way on the roster first. Then you can worry about your place in the wide receiver room. So I don't know.
Yeah, I have a hard time finding a spot for him, especially given all the other options. Like, I think if he makes the roster, at best, he's looking for like the number 5 at best. Yeah, and that, I think that's like even being generous. Like, I think he's probably the 6th receiver on this team
right now. You figure Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson, Braxton Berrios.
There's the
and then it puts you. You figure they'll probably keep 5 or 6 wide receivers because of the sets they run, especially with 2 tight ends. So I would say probably 5. Now that 5th, there's 4 guys looking for that position, and right now, I mean, like,
And keep in mind, if you want special teams help, Berrios returns. So like Berrios isn't going on special teams to be a gunner. He's your return guy.
He's your return man. He's a lock. He's here. He's not going anywhere.
So he's there. He's in, but he's the return guy. So if you want versatility to find a gunner or to find that guy on special teams, Berrios isn't that guy because he's already returning. So Jeff Smith would be that guy, or like you said, a guy like Calvin Jackson, or somebody like that has versatility and the ability to get out there and play special teams. And Mims doesn't have it. But like you said, they're probably only keeping 5 because in any other year like this Jets team, you could probably take 6, maybe even 7. But this year you have 2 tight ends that you're going to run out there regularly, probably in 2 tight end sets a lot. But you also have Ruckert, who's going to be on this team. He's a lock to make this team. And I think you're going to see him a little bit. And then you also have running backs. You have Hall, you have Carter, you have Ty Johnson.
Coleman, who knows if he stays.
Tevin Coleman, who's on the – so like – and that's without even accounting for Knight. So like you're talking about 5 running backs that could all legitimately be on the roster, 3 tight ends that are going to legitimately be on the roster. There's just not enough. Like, how many offensive weapons can you keep on a 53-man roster? It's just there's not enough room for it. So
especially with the shakiness of the O-line, they're probably going to keep another 1 or 2 tackles on hand just to be safe, you know? So I don't know. It's just it's simple math, and the math doesn't seem to be adding up, and the clock's almost at the 0 hour for him. And it's Friday will be another big game. We'll see what happens. You know, he might come in and light it up on Friday.
Think they play Monday this week.
No, I thought it was Friday.
No,
is it Monday?
Atlanta on Monday.
And then what? Giants is the following Friday.
Sunday,
1:00. I could have sworn I saw they play a Friday game.
It's weird. No, they're done with Friday. They have 3 games. Yeah, Monday night against Atlanta, Sunday afternoon against the Giants.
Oh, I gotta wait a whole weekend to watch. Ugh,
yeah,
boring.
And you get to watch it in primetime and be aggravated.
Oh my god! And then to watch Desmond Ritter just fucking destroy the Jets secondary.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. But doesn't it just feel like, and we all know it's probably gonna happen, but Mims isn't gonna make this team. They're either gonna cut him or they're gonna trade him for like a 7. But he's gonna go somewhere and be good.
He'll be good.
You know he's gonna be good.
Yeah. But you know it's the business, and that's the name of the game. You know you look at again another team who's pretty weak at receiver. Like you look at the Bears, who could probably be a 3.
Dallas is pretty weak at wide receiver.
Dallas right now with their injuries, he could possibly be a 3 or a 2 until Gallup comes back. Like, you know, in another situation, it's great. But I mean, like, I'm not starting you over Elijah Moore. I'm not starting you over, you know, Garrett Wilson. And Braxton Berrios has earned a right to play on offense, not just be a return man.
Right.
So it's like, I feel comfortable with doing it, and that's a calculated risk. I'd be like, all right, man, if someone else can unlock it, someone else unlocks it. But I don't have the time or the patience to do it over here.
Yeah, I read yesterday Berrios was super involved in the offense and what they ran at camp yesterday. He's gonna be on the field a lot, running those gadget plays, and like a lot of like what you saw him do the last couple of weeks of the year when Wilson was really locked in, and that was really Wilson's go-to guy. Those last 4 or 5 games last year was Berrios.
I think him and Garrett Wilson are going to be those gadget guys. I've been seeing a lot of him running those like bubble screens, you know, the comeback screens where like, you know, they want him to run after the catch.
Yeah.
Give him a 5 to 6 yard slant or hitch and then let him go. And then on the outside, you'll see a lot of those like, you know, longer, you know, post patterns or longer fly routes by Davis and Moore. I think they really want to keep the Wilson and Berrios on the inside. And if it's working, it's like it seems to be so far in practice, go for it. Let it ride, baby.
Yeah. So yeah, of course they go from 90 down to 85. They got rid of Rashad Davis, who's really the only notable name that I really knew out of that group. Had some run with Tennessee last year, but Tim Ward, a D end, Luke Barku, a corner, and Derek Kelly, an O-line. And of course, they were supposed to go from 90 to 85, but they only had to cut 4 because, of course, Becton went on the IR, which effectively ends his season, which clears another roster spot. So they cut 4 down to get to that 85 mark now. So I think the next one goes from like 85 to 75 or something like that, which I think has to happen sometime next week. But you're in that thing now where
next week, yeah.
Yeah. So I think you're in that part of the summer now where every week you're going to see 5 or 10 guys
You'll start to see some notable names too.
Yeah,
Fly off the team.
I think I saw. I think Vegas cut Demarcus Robinson, the wide receiver who had some time, I think, with Kansas City last year.
Really?
Yeah, I saw he got cut. Just a little while ago, a couple hours ago,
Yeah.
I saw he got cut. So that's not a bad, but you'll see more names like that. As like you said, as you get closer to the right after that final preseason game, you'll see like starting caliber guys get cut. Of course, they're not going to.
free.
Yeah, they're not going to be Pro Bowl guys, but there's going to be some good depth pieces. I mean, that's how we ended up with Braxton Berrios, if you remember. That first Joe Douglas year, New England cut Berrios.
New England was trying to stash him onto the practice squad.
Yeah, and the Jets nabbed him and hasn't left since.
It was a great pickup by them. But that was a perfect like Edelman mold guy. It was a perfect Belichick guy, because he did the same thing in Miami as he's doing now. He was everything.
Yeah.
He jet sweeps, return man, he played quarterback. I mean, he did everything for them.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see.
I remember that when they took him, they also got I think that was also the group they got Franklin Myers from the Rams, and they got
there's another big one.
They got their well, it wasn't a big one, but remember that whole summer they had no kicker, and they brought back what the hell, Chandler Catanzaro, and he like couldn't kick anymore.
Oh, but that was the second time. His second stint.
His second time back. They brought him back for a second, and he like couldn't kick anymore, and he retired. He retired like the last week of training camp. And they got the kicker Vedvik from.
Because everybody wanted the kid from Baltimore.
Everybody wanted Vedvik, and so the Jets got him.
He screwed us in the Buffalo game.
The Buffalo game, misses an extra point, misses like 2 field goals. And I think they cut him by like week 2. I don't think
they did.
Yeah,
we gave up a pick for him too, I think.
I don't remember. I don't remember how they got him.
Because swore we traded for him, and I remember because that was a big thing. It's like you gave up picks for a kicker, and fucking sucks. But remember who was the one kicker who was he was for like 3 Ross Martin, where he was in like 3 training camps in a row. He was like an accountant, but he was like straight out of college, but he was like good, and he was like made it up until the final cuts, and we always like just said, "Nah, sorry, man." Yeah. Cut him. But he came back like every year, and he was like a fan favorite. I think it was Ross Martin.
I think
shout out Ross Martin if you're out there.
We're gonna have to find him and get him on the pod to go through his training camp.
I wanted to get him, man, especially with some of that audacity. Just some of the shit that we've had at kicker. Oh my god.
Nah, man, we're good, Ross. We're gonna have to go with Sam Ficken again.
I'm cool with Greg the Leg though. If Zerline still's got it and he's healthy, let's go.
Yeah, I think it feels like Greg the Leg's the guy, and I think Pinheiro actually was injured a couple days this week. I think he's still out. He had like a back strain, so it feels like Zerline has the leg up on the job, probably slightly, but
no pun intended.
Yeah. But yeah, what else do we have going on in Jetsland? God shined one light on us today with the good Zach Wilson news, but I think we're all waiting tomorrow to hear about Joe Klecko.
Yes,
have the potential to get another Jet in the Hall of Fame, which feels like a long time coming. He obviously predates like Spiga and I, like was dominant before we were born, but of course we grew up Jet fans. Our dads are Jet fans, and you kind of learn and you learn the history of the franchise, and you know how much he meant to the city, how much he meant to the franchise, and you look at the numbers. And I didn't even realize till recently, but they didn't even like keep track of sacks until like the end of his career. Like sacks weren't a registered stat.
You could imagine how many he would have had, or he should have had before then, when they actually said we're measuring that as a statistic for them.
Yeah, but started multiple Pro Bowls at multiple different positions, and was just kind of the heart and soul of that sack exchange that was so highly touted here for the Jets. So I think the Hall of Fame committee
do the right thing.
Yeah, I think the Hall of Fame committee had like a meeting today. Supposedly they pick or going to have the 3 senior finalists. And I don't think picking those 3 automatically puts them in the Hall of Fame, but it puts them to be presented in front of the election committee in its whole early part of next year, but it sounds like that's like a formality. Like if you get picked to that final thing, like you're in. Almost like it's just a formality. So we should find out sometime tomorrow if Klecko made it, and I'm selfishly hoping it happens because I'd like to take a road trip to Canton sometime next year. Just to, like I said, go mob out with Jet fans and check out the Hall of Fame and obviously be there. I wanted to go a couple of years ago, but just timing didn't work out when Mawai got in. But of course, that's a guy we grew up with. And when is I wonder if that would work out next year. Isn't Revis?
Revis is next year's would be his first ballot.
So he'll be on the ballot
with Klecko, right? Because this puts him on for next year's.
Because they haven't voted yet for who's going to go in next summer. So is Revis going to be on this next ballot that they're going to vote for?
I mean, do you not have him as a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And he's next year.
He's coming up on the next ballot. Okay, so you could potentially have Klecko and Revis going into the Hall of Fame.
That would be killer.
Which would be like a pilgrimage of the masses for Jets fans to Canton, Ohio, if that happens. I didn't even just think about that till now, but if you have Klecko go in at the same year as Revis, that's going to be nutty. And obviously a huge honorable moment for the Jets franchise. But just while we have a second too, shout out to my boy Dan at Athlete Logos. If you haven't noticed, the look for the pod on all of our socials, and you saw it in the intro. Really fire. Just wanted to go with a new look, a little bit different of a scheme, and Athlete Logos really hooked us up. So shout out to those guys. Spiga and I are in the works a little bit, trying to like do some branding and get some merch out to you, just in time for the season to start, so you could do some giveaways and rock that stuff out at the parking lots and wear it to MetLife, so we could just kind of represent the pod a little bit. So look out for that stuff coming up. And speaking of giveaways, I think why we're here, thank you guys so much. We finally reached 500 Twitter followers, which is fucking nutty. I think on my personal account, it took me years to get to 500. So, that was kind of a goal we set as we saw the numbers growing. I think we were only at like 200 or something like that when I said we'll give away a Zach Wilson jersey if we could get to 500. It's almost comical that we got to the 500 to give away the Zach Wilson jersey, like the day that the guy potentially could have been out for the year. That ran through my mind that if this visit to the doctor goes poorly, nobody's gonna even want this Zach Wilson jersey.
We'd have to burn that jersey just as a sacrifice.
Yeah. So as promised, I told you while we were recording, we were going to give one away to one lucky follower. And so I don't know a great way to do this, but right now I'm just going to kind of scroll down in a randomizer, and whoever I land on is going to win.
Oh, me. Great. No.
And our winner is going to be Optimistic Jets Fan. And the handle is @_Wilson2Wilson. New York Jets fan, Pittsburgh Penguins fan, Denver Nuggets fan. Well, also a fan of the Jets group chat pod, because you, sir, are going to be getting a Zach Wilson jersey. And after we record here, I'll be shooting you a DM to let you know you're the winner. We'll shout you out, and we'll slide into your DMs, get your address, and get your size and all that stuff. And the next couple of weeks, we'll get you a Zach Wilson jersey out there. But like I said,
congratulations.
Twitter, Instagram, appreciate all the follows, appreciate all the love. Of course, you could always find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Been doing some good stuff on there. So like I said, we appreciate you guys tuning in, subscribing, telling all your friends, all the good shit. It's been fun, man. I can't believe we're kind of this far into it. Episode 10, we've reached double digits. It feels like things are coming around. A lot of good things coming up. I think Spiga and I mentioned a couple episodes ago, but I think the plan is obviously as the season gets closer, we're going to record a lot more regularly, probably more than even once a week, as the schedules permit, of course. But I think it'd be good to do like a reaction to the games on Mondays, and
then a preview for the next week or something like that. Maybe later in the week, maybe Thursday or something.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna like he said, try to do a preview maybe on like a Thursday night and drop it Friday. But I think what we're gonna try to do is get some other fan sites involved and get some guests, just not necessarily analysts, like to break down the game, like you might see on like a Jets pregame show where you have like the Ravens beat writer come on. We're not necessarily looking for like an analyst or an expert to come on. We want to talk on a fan level, like we are. We don't talk to you. We don't come with statistics really or numbers. We're not like smashing you like our word is bond in
It's a family
what we're
operation.
talking about. Correct. So we're going to be looking for some diehard, I guess, Ravens fan groups, or if you guys know any, throw them in the comments to us and we'll hit them up and try to get them on. But that's the plan right now, is to try to get some Ravens fans on leading up to that week, just to see how they feel about what's likely going to be Flacco revenge season. That should be a good storyline going into that.
Isn't that so? I just thought I don't know how. Like, I know it dawned on me that he's going to play the Ravens, but like this is like the NFL is like a fucking soap opera. How they're able to line that up to be like, oh, Flacco, who would have thought he's going to start in week 1 against the Ravens? Just like Baker, week 1 against the Browns. Like it's crazy to think to how like methodical these.
This is where the
season openers use, not even just like the season schedule. Conspiracy tinfoil hat comes on, but it's crazy. It's like, it's cool though. It's just a nice little moment. I hope he just whoops the shit out of them, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. It would be nice to have a good I'm just tired of like the home opener. Like you go in there all guns a-blazing, you're so fucking fired up for a new season, and false optimism usually, but aren't you just tired? Like it feels like at the end of like the first quarter of every opener, like it's 31-0 or it's 20-0 at half. Like before you even sit down, like the Jets have thrown a pick 6 or
how to get into.
It's just
when's the last time we won a home opener? Was that with Geno Smith against the Bucks? Was it the last time we won a home opener?
I would have to go back, but it feels like that.
I think so. Because I know for a while we didn't have like a week 1 home game either. I don't know. We'd have to fact check that. We'll let you guys know after, but feels like forever ago. But
yeah, it doesn't happen often.
Opening day win.
It felt really good, that Buffalo game, that Mosley debut, the Le'Veon Bell debut, and then they kind of coughed that up in the second half. But that
Ved Vic, Ved Dick.
Thanks a lot, Bin Laden. But that's going to wrap it here for us on episode 10. Like you said, we just kind of wanted to come out with you. A lot of breaking news happening today with the Wilson stuff and a couple of cuts and the Klecko news. So we just kind of want to give you our reaction to it and what we're thinking. Obviously, tomorrow we'll find out about Klecko. Do the right thing, Hall. But that's going to wrap it here from us. We'll be back at you probably sometime early next week. I'd say probably after the Atlanta game, just so we have some reactionary stuff to come at you with, unless there's something dramatic happens in between, which I can't imagine. Unless, knock on wood, God takes another player from us and puts them on IR.
We fucking say it.
We probably won't be back from now until the Atlanta game. So take it easy. Like I said, my boy will be shooting you a DM for your Wilson jersey, and appreciate you tuning in. We'll talk to you soon.
Later.